Welcome to the session, and I'll start from the thought for the day is that, so Swami Vivekananda sir had said that the highest manifestation of strength is to keep ourselves calm and on our feet. Okay. Now, what does this quote mean? For example, today when we talk about manifestation has become a fad. It is in fashion. Everybody talks about that on Instagram, on YouTube, again and again. That if you manifest something, that if you manifest you want to become an IAS officer, IPS officer, army officer, naval officer, politician, bureaucrat, entrepreneur, billionaire, millionaire, you will become that. That is only one part of the thought process. Even if you are doing manifestation, it is very important to put efforts. And manifestation is nothing new to Indian culture. If you go back in our ancient text, if you go back in our ancient books, even our religious books, you will see manifestation. There's nothing new in manifestation. It has always already been spoken about by about manifestation by our ancestors. There's nothing new about it. Whatever you think you want to become, you start working upon it, and eventually you will achieve the goal. What Swami Vivekananda sir says is that the manifestation of strength comes when we are calm and on our feet. When we are calm and we are composed and we are on our feet, means that we are continuously working for coming challenges. We are determined to achieve our goals, and whatever comes in our life, we would be moving forward. If we need to run, we would be running. If we need to walk, we would be walking. And even if we need to crawl, we would be crawling, but we would be moving forward with the goal in our mind. Manifestation is not just imagination of the goal that I want to become this. After you think that I want to become this, you need to be process oriented. Process oriented means that every day achieving the target. Just thinking about the goal and thinking that the goal will happen, that is not the way it's going to happen. You have to work on that goal on day-to-day basis, then only it will happen. So with this positive thought, let's go to today's important news, that is India welcomes Israel Hezbollah ceasefire, displaced people return, army receives Sabal 20 logistics drone, Supreme Court balance between bail and accused obligation to a timely trial. This is basically related to PMLA Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. We'll also talk about that in UPSC prelims impact. Then in editorial, schooling in India in times of poor air quality, specifically the poor section becomes very disadvantageous in this time, because when education shifts digitally, it is very difficult for them. And second, this problem of schooling being stopped because of poor air quality has been continuously happening. What we need to focus is that how should we control this air pollution rather than stopping the schooling. And then the standard tidbits, Q&A and extra mile. Let's move to the first important news for today, that is displaced Lebanese return as ceasefire comes into force, and India has welcomed this step. So finally, I hope now everything is audible. Okay, so finally the positive news is coming from Israel and Hezbollah. Ceasefire has happened. Ceasefire has started from yesterday, from 27th November. Ceasefire would be for the coming 2 months. The two countries which made sure that this ceasefire happened, rather they were the negotiators on the side, that is the Americans and the France. And finally this deal has happened. So this is the positive part which is coming out of the deal, and the civilians who were getting killed or becoming casualties on both the sides, now that can be stopped. In 2 months ceasefire would be there. But Israel has also categorically told, but if there is a single violation of single ceasefire violation by Hezbollah, they will revert back with even a more deadlier attack and decimate Hezbollah. Now we also need to realize that Hezbollah is a Shia terror group. It's a puppet basically of Iran. Then you have got Hamas, then you've got Houthis, and then you have got multiple terror groups which are based in Jordan, Syria, and many other areas. So these are those terror groups which works under the axis of resistance, and this axis of resistance is managed by Iran. So Iran would be giving them logistics, Iran would be giving them money, capital, weapons, ideology, whatever they want, and they would be doing the dirty work of Iran, of assassination, of killing, or whatever Iran intends to do, rather than Iran doing it themselves. Because Iran, if does it itself, then it would not be able to use plausible deniability. For example, if Hamas attacks Israel or Hezbollah attacks Israel, now even if Israel knows that this entire weapons came from Iran, it cannot, it might say that Iran is behind it, but it cannot attack Iran, though Israel is already attacking Iran. But that's a very different game, because because Iran had attacked Israel, Israel had reverted back or countered back. But most of the times, because some other country is using terror groups, like Pakistan uses terror groups to do terrorist attack in India, like they did in 26/11. We was, 26/11 just passed, right? 26th November, when the Mumbai terror attack happens. So even if we know that Pakistan has done this terror attack, straight away we cannot attack Pakistan at that point of time. Attacking their terror groups is a very different case, which we did in Balakot airstrike and Uri surgical strikes. But Pakistan will always have plausible deniability. See, these are non-state actors. They are not under my control. They can do whatever they want. Same is the case Iran uses. But now a wonderful thing which has happened is that since because of this ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, one hand, so Israel, the ceasefire with Israel and Hamas has not happened. So Israel is still pounding Gaza, and and the Hamas still have the hostages. That side, the attacks by Israel has not been stopped. So if Israel was fighting with Hamas and Israel was fighting with Hezbollah, now Hezbollah is over, so one hand is right now free. So now with this hand, they can concentrate on Iran. So in coming 3-4 months, or when the Donald Trump take charges, we will see some kind of changes which will happen in Iran, because Joe Biden has been at least successful in putting a ceasefire resolution out here. If a ceasefire happens between Israel and Hamas, that would be good, but that will only happen if Hamas would give the hostages back. So if Hamas and Hezbollah, the ceasefire happens, right now it is only between Israel and Hezbollah. With Hamas also it happens, then Israel will definitely concentrate on Iran, because you need to rely, be it Hezbollah, be it Houthis, or be it Hamas. These are very, these are puppet groups, these are puppet Shia terror groups. Eventually they are being handled by Iran. So unless you speak to the father of these terror groups or make changes in that entire, that supreme leader Khamenei, which he and his entire group which is responsible for these terror groups, so unless there are talks, or if the government is getting removed, or whatever Israel and Americans do with Iran to make sure that Iran becomes peaceful and does not get into these terror groups, so that would happen in the coming days. But Israel would be free from Hamas, Hezbollah, then they can concentrate on Iran. This I probably believe will start happening once the Donald Trump take charge in January, end of the January, then the things will change. And then also the progress which was made in Abraham Accords, the Israel was there, Bahrain, UAE, all these countries came, and the Middle East was looking towards peace. But then eventually your terror attack happened, the terror attack on 7th October 2023, and then we know what happened with Israel and Hamas. So if we want Abraham Accords and peace in West Asia, it is very important that ceasefire happens there and Israel and other countries can concentrate on Iran and everything. So this is a summary of exactly what has happened, what is coming, and what will come in the future, which I have just told you. Okay. Now, India has definitely welcomed this. So India welcomed the agreement. India on Israel and Hezbollah ceasefire, they welcomed it. Obviously, India was already talking about de-escalation peace, because if there is a peace from point of view of energy, gas, oil, business, and India has a lot of stakes there. India's population is also there. From the point of view of expatriate population also, this ceasefire is very good and India has welcomed it. So this I've already covered with you. I've just told you in the class. So it would be a 2-month halt to hostilities. Hezbollah withdrawal from the southern Lebanon. So if you see, so somewhere here, this is the area where Hezbollah was here, and this is the Israelis have entered. So Israelis had entered this particular area with their military. So they had entered the southern Lebanon. Now there is a river out here. So Hezbollah has been asked that you will go to the north of the river, and in this particular area where Hezbollah used to be there, only the Lebanese army and the UNIFIL, that is United Nations forces, would be there, and this area will now become a buffer zone. It will become a buffer zone, and Israelis will also leave this area. They had entered Lebanon and they will come back in Israel. So this is the current deal which has happened, that Hezbollah would move north of the river, and on the south of the river there would be a buffer zone would be created out here, and this buffer zone would be the standard Lebanese army and the United Nations forces would be there. Okay. Now moving forward, so deployment of Lebanese troops, UN peacekeepers and international monitors would be there. That's what I'm saying. So buffer zone would be created. So Hezbollah, which used to be near this area, that is southern Lebanon, and used to put rocket and missiles against these Israel colonies. And Haifa port is very important because Adanis have invested here. So Adani has invested in Haifa port. A lot of Indian investment is there, and Chinese were trying to take this Haifa port, but eventually Adani got. So the Hezbollah was also trying to target this Haifa port, but now it would be secured. So displaced residents are returning back. Israeli forces remain in some areas. So certain restricted zones have been created where people or these the forces cannot enter because this would be managed by the Israel. So in Israel, more than 70 fatalities, over half civilian. Hezbollah rocket fire caused significant damage to towns like Kiryat Shimona. This used to happen. Now eventually, over a period of time, this should be stopped. Hezbollah would be moving, rather it would be moving more backward towards the northern Lebanon. But again, if Hezbollah tries to do an adventure again, that would not be good because everybody knows what Israel did with Hezbollah. They killed their most important leader, Hassan Nasrallah. Then the second in command was gone. And the latest leader, Sheikh Qasim, he is not right now, he's not even in Lebanon. He has gone to Iran so that he can save his life. And we already know what happened in the pager attack. The 8200 unit did that. That pager attack, that was a massive cyber attack. And in the geopolitical scenario, and security analysts, even Chief of Army Staff of India has told that was a master stroke operation. So I believe that Hezbollah should look for peace. Because mostly Israel has, whatever their aims, they achieved it. They have killed the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, destruction of militant weapons, and Hezbollah, even when they were in Lebanon, they find a lot of weapons which were Iran-based, we can understand, even Russian weapons were there. So caches and their infrastructure, demonstration of deep intelligence penetration on Hezbollah, and how deep intelligence penetration pager attack was, which was, multiple pager attack happened and many of the Hezbollah leaders were killed. So everyone talked about this pager attack, and definitely if they are able to do this pager attack, they have some very good intelligence operations in Hezbollah. So, Lebanon returnees for vast destruction. Lebanese official urge caution in frontline. Israel public sentiment is skeptical with concerns about Hezbollah's proximity. So, if a future attack comes from Hezbollah, that would not be good for Lebanon, neither Hezbollah. So, Hezbollah remains bloodied but resilient, continuing resistance and launching rocket and drones until the ceasefire. So, example, if this now ceasefire is started, even if there was 5 minutes to ceasefire, they were still launching rockets. So given a chance to Hezbollah, again, they would try a terror attack in future. There is no doubt about it. So until it is fully decimated. Okay, so regional implication, Joe Biden plans to push for a renewed Gaza peace effort, because Gaza means he's now would be trying for ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, because he's already achieved between Israel and Hezbollah. So if he's able to do it, at least Joe Biden will have something positive going in the last 1.5 months of his, or rather 1.5 months of his tenure left. So if he is able to achieve it, now Donald Trump was saying that when he becomes the president, right now is the elected president, so he'll take the power in January. So he was saying that on day one or in the coming days, he will straight away stop this war, get ceasefire. But Joe Biden has at least achieved one part of it. If he achieves this part, that is the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, that would also be very great. So India has definitely welcomed it. Ministry of External Affairs emphasized India's stance on de-escalation, restraint and return to dialogue and diplomacy. Prime Minister Modi has again and again told that this is not the era of war, this is the era of economic prosperity. He has told this to Putin and many other leaders. So External Affairs Ministry has expressed hope that will foster peace and stability in a broader West Asian region, because whenever this West Asian region is burning, the cost of oil and gas goes very up, and since India is dependent on 85% of its imports for its energy needs, we also have to pay a huge price for that. And obviously when there is peace, the economy overall would also be good. So India had voiced its concerns earlier also. Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister of Spain, was in India, and he had a joint statement condemning the attacks on UNIFIL. So UNIFIL is United Nations interim force in Lebanon. So basically this is like a neutral force which would now be going into that buffer zone area. It's a peacekeeping mission established by United Nations Security Council in 1978 through resolution 425 and 426. So this is actually a good prelims facts also. Resolution 425 and 426 are related to UNIFIL. And what is UNIFIL? UNIFIL is United Nations Interim Forces Lebanon, and its primary objective is that to ensure peace and security in southern Lebanon and monitor the region's volatile border areas from, be it from Hezbollah or if Israelis are entering it. Okay. So regional implication: conflict poses risk to regional stability, endangered lives of expatriates including Indians, but now that would be good because they have moved towards ceasefire. So India remains cautiously optimistic. Why cautiously optimistic? It is only a ceasefire of 2 months. Right now it would be stretched. What would Hezbollah do? What would Israel do? We'll only get to know after 2 months. So despite reports of ceasefire violations emerging from Lebanon, majority of these violations were done by Hezbollah. Hezbollah was attacking again. So, and Israel has said that if this continues, this will not be good. So Turkey President Erdogan has offered to assist with ceasefire in Gaza. So Turkey has now again offered it, that if you want that, earlier Qatar was trying to do it, now Turkey is also offering it, that if you need some help in Gaza, you know, since US and France mediated and got this deal done between Israel and Hezbollah, so he's also giving. So India has also continued to advocate for peace and stability. So this is the UPSC mains question. Analyze the recent Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire, highlight the complexities of geopolitical tensions in West Asia and its implication for regional stability and India's response in the context of diplomatic principles and regional stakes. So let's go to the next news. Indian Army received logistics drone for use in eastern sector. So this is your Sabal 20. This is the drone they would be using, Sabal 20. And one more important news also coming. We also are working on something called Analakshya. Analakshya, so this is kind like of cloaking material. So it is a kind of cloaking material. Cloaking material or system. So Sabal 20 and Analakshya. So Indian Army has begun receiving Sabal 20 logistic drones for Endure air systems. So, you know, the startups are working very good in India, primarily for the deployment in eastern sector. So this is one news. These are two different positive news coming. Second is that in the another development, IIT Kanpur has been able to, they were working on a cloaking system and material. They have announced the launch of metamaterial surface cloaking system Analakshya. It's called Analakshya, marking a significant advancement in stealth technology. So stealth technology for in a very basic example, if you've seen that Harry Potter, he puts a cloak and he becomes invisible. Okay, so basically nobody is able to see it. So now they are trying to make this stealth technology, this cloaking system, which would be able to you would be able to evade the radars and missiles or different kind of threats. Okay, let's talk about first Sabal 20 logistics drone. Features electric unmanned helicopter with variable pitch technology. So this question can come, what is pitch technology? So a pitch technology, it is basically a drone propeller. Propeller is the one which had blades, it propels, and it can be adjusted to change the angle of attack. So basically when you have pitch technology, it enhances the performance of your drone. Payload capacity is up to 20 kg of this drone. Then other features of the drone are stability in operations is very high, and it can work on superior high altitude performance. On high altitude it can work, so therefore in Jammu and Kashmir and the areas basically towards Galwan and other side and high altitude areas, you can use Sabal 20. Reduce turbulence risk. So what happens is that when the turbulence is very high in the atmosphere, drones are not working, but this has a more stability, so it will work better. Enhanced lifting capacity across diverse terrain, so be from deserts to mountains to various areas. It can work in different terrains, it can work in different weathers, and most importantly, lifting capacity is very high. We just saw payload capacity is around 20 kgs. It is designed for long range delivery, so it can go for a long period of time, high altitude mission and precision logistics. So from a point of view of targeting Pakistan, China, Jammu and Kashmir, or any of our enemies in the high altitude, this is a wonderful drone which we have got. Equipped with advanced vertical takeoff. Vertical takeoff means that, straight away it will take off. Like for example, if you see airplanes, they have to, they take off while they move on the runway and then they take off. In vertical takeoff, you don't need any of these kind of runways. It can straight away take off. So vertical takeoff and landing can be done. So this is also called VTOL system. Now Americans also have some kind of fighter aircraft which works on VTOL. Okay, so when you talk about VTOL, they don't need runways. Okay, so vertical takeoff and landing technology for confined and rugged terrains where the terrain is very bad, so you can use this. Low RPM design, so since there is low RPM, the noise would be less. If the noise would be less, detection would be less. Noise and enhances stealth for sensitive missions, where you want that if a drone is being used, your enemy does not know about it. So procurement would be happening soon. It was developed by Endure Air System, incubated at IIT Kanpur in 2018. So two wonderful news coming. One is this about this drone, and the second is about Analakshya, which is your cloaking system. So Analakshya is Meta Material Surface Cloaking System. The development team was led by Professor Ananta Ramakrishna of Physics Department. From Electrical Engineering, Professor Kumar Vaibhav Srivastava and Professor J. Ram Kumar from Mechanical Engineering are behind this Analakshya system, and a lot of PhD students were there. So technology highlights: textile based broadband material microwave absorber is there. So that is why even if radar is trying to send it rays and get this on blip, they would not be able to, because this material would be working as a stealth technology in anti-radar systems. Offer near perfect wear absorption across a broad spectrum. Counters synthetic aperture radar imaging, and enhances protection against radar guided missiles. So the missiles which use radar guided want to target a particular area or a particular instrument or a particular missile or a particular weapon. If it has this Analakshya technology, it can easily evade it. Now, testing and development underwent rigorous laboratory and field testing from 2019 to 2024. So tested for around more than 5 years. 90% of material sourced are indigenously. This is the most important thing, that the 90% of the things have been sourced indigenously. It has been made indigenously. 10% they imported it. Licensed to Meta Tatva System Private Limited for manufacturing and deployment. So this is what happens. This used to happen in America. Rather, it still happens where the institution, academics, private company and the defense forces come together and they create a good weapon. So defense forces say that this is the kind of technology we are looking for. Then the industry say that currently we are working on this technology we can offer you, and the research institution, top research institutions will say currently, if you give us this amount of funds, or if you give us this kind of technology over a period of 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, we can work on research and development and come up with better technology. So top academic institution, industry experts, and finally your defense forces, what they need. If they come together, a wonderful military complexes can be created, and this is just one example. So what is the strategic significance? Sabal 20 enhances logistic capabilities. Obviously it can be used in different terrain, and it uses the pitch technology, critical for military operation in high altitude regions. Analakshya offers advanced stealth capabilities, and most importantly it can evade. It is a defense against radar guided missiles and threats. So MCQ, Sabal 20 logistic drone is variable pitch unmanned helicopter designed to support high altitude precision logistics. Analakshya cloaking system uses import materials to counter synthetic aperture radar imaging effectively. Both technologies were developed indigenously by IIT Kanpur and its collaborators. Tell me the answer. Okay. So the first statement is correct, and the both technologies were developed by indigenously. Analaksha uses counter to aperture radar cloaking system. Then Analaksha cloaking uses imported. No, it is not imported. 90% is indigenous. And third, so 1 and 3 are statements. High altitude precision is correct. It is indigenously. Both technologies were developed indigenously at IIT Kanpur. Okay, playing the key role. Now coming to the scholarship test. This test would be happening on 1st December 2024. The timing of the test is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The offline test, and online test is 11 a.m. to 12 noon. And you can register here. If you go scan this QR code, you will get all the details. Now this scholarship test is for OGP 2026. OGP is offline and online guidance program. This is the top course of Insights IAS, one of the topmost courses. And if you get in this particular scholarship test, if you get 1st to 5th rank, you will get 100% scholarship. The program would be totally free for you. The 6 to 100 ranks would be 20% scholarship, and 100 to 200 ranks would be 50% scholarship. And this would be CSC prelims based test. It would be MCQ based test with negative marking. So you should definitely come and give this test. The test is on 1st December. If you can come offline, you can come offline. If you can give online, the timings are given here, and rest of the details are. So I would ask you to register for it. Rest the details are being given also in the description. Now, one more thing, the anthropology optional batch is starting from 2nd December 2024. It would be taken by Dr. Arjun Papanna, top faculty for anthropology. It would have more than 100 classes of 2.5 hours each, systematic and comprehensive coverage of syllabus, online and offline Bangalore campus, and online would be available anywhere. Rest details have been given here. This is the price of the course until 30th November. There's 10% discount, plus you can scan this code also for all the details. And also call on the number 80694055205. Okay. Now let's go to the next important news. Supreme Court seeks balance between bail and obligation of accused to timely trial. So this is basically related to cases which have come under the money laundering. So first of all, what is PMLA Act 2002? That is Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So Act itself says that it wants to stop money laundering. So what is money laundering? When you basically so if there is the conversion of illegal money to legal money, and you hide the source of that illegal money, that is your money laundering. This is the simplistic definition I have given you. So there is a generation of illegal money which is happening through organized crime, and then you use a method called PLI, that is placement, layering and integration, and convert this illegal money to legal money, which can again be used by organized crime or these criminals which are based in it. This is what is money laundering. Plus, first is creation of illegal to legal, and second important part of money laundering would be the source of illegal money should always be hidden, so that we never know how this money came in the system. So in a very simple way, this is money laundering. And obviously there are many ways of doing money laundering, from cryptos to shell to fake accounts or rather mule accounts. There are multiple ways of doing, but Hawala is also one way of doing it. Today crypto is also being used for doing money laundering. Okay, so it provides, PMLA provides the confiscation of property which has been derived from the money of money laundering. Money laundering uses a system called PLI, that is placement, placing that money, layering of the multiple layers would be created, or multiple transaction would be done, so it's very difficult to find. And then finally integration in the mainstream economic system. So it means, or mainstream banking system. It aims to combat money laundering related to illegal activities. This is drug trafficking, smuggling and terrorism financing. So drug trafficking, smuggling, through this you generate illegal money, and from that illegal money you will use money laundering to convert that money into legal money. And then this legal money which has been created, this has not come from your economy or your banks. Okay, so this will also lead to a lot of inflation and a lot of unrest in the society. That's a very different discussion of money laundering, how it reaches to unrest, and there can be social unrest if organized crime increases. We cannot take that in this lecture, more of as a part of internal security. So the provision of this act applies to all financial institution, bank, RBI, mutual fund, insurance companies and their financial intermediaries. Now let's come to the news. Now in this news, Supreme Court has emphasized that there should be a balance between granting bail in money laundering cases and ensuring the accused cooperation, ensuring a timely trial. So they are saying, okay, bail can be given, but at the same time, the accused also should cooperate with the court, and there should be a timely trial. Okay, he needs to cooperate with the court. So case under review involved Zishan Heather, an accused in PMLA case. So bench composition is led by Justice A.S. Oka. The bench proposed that accused person seeking bail because of trial delays, bail due to trial delays, should provide an undertaking to not seek adjournments and cooperate fully with the trial. So court has said that jail is an exception and bail is a rule. And court is ready, Supreme Court is ready to give bails. But at the same time, it is also saying that the accused also needs to cooperate with the Supreme Court. He or she should not be looking for adjournments, and he or should also be looking for timely trials and timely result or timely final judgment which should come. Okay. So bail is the rule, jail is the exception. Supreme Court had recently said when they were giving, when they gave the bail to Manish Sisodia, and recently Arvind Kejriwal has also got bail. So court suggestion aims to strike a balance between accused fundamental right to liberty, that is our Article 21, and obligation to ensure timely judicial proceedings. So timely judicial proceedings should be there. So this is against the accused that they should not be looking for adjournments. Court held in previous judgments that prolonged delays in the commencement justify bail under the PMLA. So they have said the previous judgment prolonged delays in the trial commencement justify bail under PMLA, that is Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and they say bail is a right and jail is an exception. So they are ready to give bail, but at the same time accused also needs to cooperate with the Supreme Court or any court. So Manish Sisodia is the case that bail cannot serve as a punishment. Delay in trial commencement violates Article 2021. Critique of Directorate of Enforcement. The Supreme Court criticized Directorate of Enforcement that PMLA crimes are too serious for bail. So this was said by Directorate of Enforcement that, if you are under PMLA, bail should not be given, but the Supreme Court had criticized and they have given bail. So the proposal underscores accused rights and timely justice are interconnected. Ensure cooperation from accused aligns with the constitutional guarantee of liberty and prevent judicial delays. So Supreme Court is saying that under Article 21 there is freedom of liberty. You cannot put anyone in jail. You cannot put anyone in jail for a long period of time and keep denying him bail on what Directorate of Enforcement is saying. At the same time, they are also saying that the accused also needs to cooperate with the court for the timely judgment, and second, he or she should not be looking for adjournments. So case next hearing may formalize the approach. The decision should set a precedent to handling bail in cases involving complex economic crimes. Okay. So cooperate fully with the trial, provide an undertaking not to seek adjournments. Let's go to the editorial, that is schooling in India in times of poor air quality. So this is written by Dr. Randeep Guleria and Dr. Chandrakant Leheria. Okay. So recently school closures have happened in Delhi and the GRAP has been implemented. GRAP has also various stages 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now we are in the, I think, 4th has been implemented, 3rd and 4th. So it is prompted by graded response action plan. GRAP, it was implemented last year also, but the point is that why do we come to the stage of implementing GRAP? Why are not we solving the problem that we don't need GRAP? That is basically what author is talking about. So we have switched physical classes to online mode due to poor air quality, nothing new, which happened last year also. This decision raises concern about scientific, rational practicability and risk versus benefits of such action. See, offline education, when you talk about specifically at the time of school, is very, very necessary. How students learn in a class because he or she would be interacting with 30-40 people. Then there are extracurricular activities, then there are sports activities, and what you learn from interaction with your peer group, that cannot be done in online classes. Online classes can supplement the offline classes, but they cannot definitely replace the offline atmosphere, specifically in our budding years of school. There are so much of activity from extracurricular, sports, multiple classes happen, and interaction of both the sides, girls, boys, or anyone. That is very important, and how they learn different principles of life. So in this context, the author talks about that whenever this pollution problem comes, the offline education goes for a toss, or offline education gets closed for some days and the online starts. Online can get supplemented, but supplement the offline education. The author says that why are we not trying to solve the problem of this air pollution, but rather we are looking that we should close the schools. So air quality concern, AQI above 50 is harmful with severe impacts beyond 400. So right now it's very high. According to some reports, AQI in Delhi was also around 1600. Delhi recorded no good AQI days in 2024, only one in 2023. So no good day in AQI, no, 0 in 2024, 1 in 2023. Classifying air quality between 51 to 399 as acceptable. Normalize is its harmful effect. So we have already normalized that if from 50 to 399, if air quality is there, that's a good or a decent air quality. So we have acclimatized our body or our mindset that this amount of pollution would always be there. So this is the cost you will have to pay if you are staying in Delhi. So this is what is happening. Obviously, this is not great news. So indoor air quality in homes and school is often similar until unless you are putting air purifiers, and not everybody can afford these air purifiers. A single air purifier the cost starts from 10,000, 15,000 and above, and not everyone can afford it. So closing school leads to learning loss, affects nutrition due to loss of midday meals. Now many of these government schools offer midday meals, and they go there, they eat that meal, and it's a very nutritious meal. The students which are going there, their parents are not able to afford better schooling, or they are not able to give this kind of meals to them. Now that would also be a loss. Online classes disadvantages the underprivileged children, increases screen exposure. When screen exposure increases, it is not good for children, specifically at this budding age. And secondly, it has harmful behavioral aspects also. Mask and mitigation measures. So we have normalized that we can use face mask. You cannot keep on using N95 mask. Okay, so uniform advisories for mandatory mask are unscientific. It has not been proven. Masks are beneficial for children with respiratory condition, but unnecessary in settings with air purifiers. Again, nobody talks about it. So if you have air purifiers, you don't need, but then you need to have money to have air purifiers. Masks for children younger than 12 years, especially N95 masks, are discouraged because they are discomfort and there are potential risk of using N95 mask on children. Improving indoor air quality, you need to put air purifiers, okay, in classroom with closed window and doors. Activation of purifiers an hour before classes ensures good air quality. But again, will be the school ready to put this kind of air purifiers? Because most of the air purifiers, like the parliament, the new parliament has air purifiers. Most of these top government offices have air purifiers. So these offices are working properly, they don't have any problem. But most of the population in Delhi and other areas, or Delhi NCR, don't have the money to buy this air purifiers, and that is why they are struggling. Propose science-based approach, keeping schools open, prioritize physical schooling over online classes, halting outdoor activities during poor AQI days, all opt-out option for students with pre-existing health condition during severe AQI periods. So see, schools will get closed because sports activities will not happen, extracurricular activities will not happen because the pollution is very high. But even if this goes for 3 months or 3 or 4 months every year, for example, say it goes for coming 10 years, you don't realize that how even these 3 months of schooling, if you are losing what in totality, the total amount of school which they will lose in terms of in terms of their schooling, in terms of their interaction, in terms of their physical activities, in terms of their extracurricular, that would be having a bad effect on all these students. So halting outdoor activities during poor AQI is sufficient, but again, these are, today a problem comes, it's a very reactive approach. that a pollution is happening, we stop the schooling. Pollution is happening, we are stopping the offline education, because today you have got the option of online education. But this is only, in drastic circumstances you should use it, when COVID happened. But right now our focus should be like Beijing and Shanghai also reduced their air pollution. Egypt's city Cairo had reduced its air pollution. Our focus should be doing that. So individual guidelines, no universal mask mandate is there. Hybrid classes should be strictly limited and routinely adopted when there is a huge need for it. Okay, health intervention, routine health checkups and vaccinations for the vulnerable population is done. Again, the government needs to put an effort, and specifically when I talk about Delhi government needs to put effort, because Delhi government said that the stubble burning has reduced, because it's the same government, the same party is ruling Punjab also. But now NASA and other satellites data has come. So whenever NASA's 2 satellites are going over Punjab, I think it goes for 2 hours somewhere in the afternoon, the stubble burning is not done, the farmers are not burning, but the satellites pass, then we see that they have started burning the stubble again. So some South Korean satellites have also captured this data. So again, if you see that the actual stubble burning in Haryana and Punjab has increased, it has not decreased. And Supreme Court is asking about this CAQM reports, that what data you have given, this data is incorrect, because what data we are getting from satellite, it is saying that the stubble burning has increased. So the focus of the government, be it central and state, should be reducing this, or basically not reducing stubble burning, rather stopping it. Because if you don't do so, this problem of schools and other things will continue. So delinking schools from Grab, it's easier said than done that you want to delink from Grab, but if you delink, first of all, you need to control pollution, and if you can't, then your buses should have air purifiers, schools should have air purifiers. I don't know that the state government or the schools would be investing this kind of money. People-centric policies should be there. Okay, focus on broader solution, address systematic pollution issues. That is the most important thing. You need to address this problem. Recognize that schools are not sources of pollution but sites of critical learning. This is good. Yes, they are sites of critical learning, but this government needs to know that they are sites of critical learning. The pollution needs to be reduced. If until unless they do so, the problem will continue. So Nelson Mandela, the treatment of children reflects a society's soul. India must shift from repeated school closures to a more child-centric and scientifically grounded approach of having air purifiers. Better systems should be put in place, but this all will happen if the state and the central government work first. And second important thing, we might not even need this if we are able to control pollution. We start talking about pollution every year from when the Diwali ends, October, November, December, January, and when the rains will happen, or suddenly if rains comes in Delhi and the Delhi NCR or the northern region of the wind flow becomes very high and the pollution goes, nobody will talk about it, and it will again go under the carpet. So a mains question has been given to you. You can practice that. And in tidbits, we have today that India-Russia trade has crossed $66 billion. So a lot of cohesion is happening between India and Russia trade. Majority of the trade is being between India and Russia is because India is buying oil and gas in huge numbers, because Russia is giving discount. The counter to this is that when the Russia-Ukraine war stops and Europe again starts buying oil and gas from Russia, will Russia would be giving this amount of discount to India first? Second, today India is not buying that amount of weapons which it used to buy from Russia. So because India is diversifying its weapons, it's buying from Israel, it is buying from America, and for that matter France also, and now it's Germany and Spain are also interested in selling weapons. So weapons we are not buying so many from Russia. So if oil and gas reduces, how would we do that? And the target of India-Russia trade is to cross $100 billion by 2030. In the extra mile you can go with this, the right to work deleted, and then Ashwani Vaishnav favors law for social media OTT. So he basically says that social media is good, but right now a lot of vulgar content is also coming on social media which needs to be controlled and curtailed. So that is what this news is all about. Okay, you can go through that. And scholarship test, I've already told you the scholarship test is happening on 1st December 2024, and you can get scholarship up to 100% for the OGP 2026, that is offline and online guidance program 2026. An integrated foundation program will also start at Bangalore. For details, you can scan this QR code. Second is that please watch ICANN 2.0 lectures by Sapna ma'am, where she is covering a lot of answer enrichment programs related to current affairs, the news which are not covered in the daily editorials, which are more from a point of view of ethics and other news, which will help you for your answer writing. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a video comes that will really help you. So a video also came yesterday. You can go and watch it. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Please like, share the lecture, and also press the bell icon, and please do give your wonderful comments. How do you find the lecture? And we are sorry for the technical glitch which happened in the morning. The sound was not coming. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.